your success our passion.
So how the thing end?
My God. So we video call like 2 minutes. Then now she say make I take over and meet them. But Charlie, as I hang up, we are Rexy, my data finish. Ooh. See, I roam I no get data back. So after they come look for another phone.
Hey, my guy, hold up. You see why you for use Vodafone?
I be all be the same data.
Who tell you? Now with Vodafone, whether you get data or not, you go free use the Uber app with no data charges at all.
Hey, this one?
Oh yeah. Now Vodafone the Uber partner. So even if you get data where you use the Uber app, then they clear you anything. Where if you don't get data safe, Charlie, you the free use the Uber app. Simple. No data matter bia. Where the be safe be say, as you the use the app, you the free get free rides. Where it come with some champion discounts. You can now order your Uber rides at no data cost and stand a chance to enjoy free rides and amazing discounts. Switch to Vodafone today.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Hey, I say, mix the cement in correct proportional.
Hey, contractor.
Hey, Buccaneer, what's your soul?
Yeah, Malande. Sorry, I say. When you attend the year of return, Ankasa. Hey, contractor. A danya wasting ye. Hey, what push mama me feeling too much?
Who project here? Me friend a gas them from top to down. If you are a gas them.
Hey, yes, solid pa.
Hey, you see gas them, man. If for soup in our do. On your quality no question. Extra gas them cement biara. I will cook a crab be. Over 5,000 plus communities. And a gas them. I donations. SCC schools, I built the clinic. Now, what a packaging now. What's Sadara and environmentally friendly?
Never compromise on quality. Choose the value Gassam offers you always. Gassam, the nation builder.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Now, it's day one of the restrictions imposed by the president, which started at 1 a.m. Today, and it's going to last for the next 2 weeks. I'll tell you all about compliance today and how the security have been enforcing that law shortly. But minority in Parliament has described as unnecessary government's establishment of the COVID-19 National Trust Fund. President Akufo-Addo outdoor the committee to oversee the fund, which will raise money to support Ghanaians impacted negatively by the virus. An announcement has since been made about the president's donation of his 3-month salary to that fund. That's not all. Today, all ministers of state, the chief of staff, head deputies, secretaries to the president, cabinet, presidential staffers, and presidential aides at the presidency have all decided to donate 50% of their salaries for the next 3 months. That is the April, May, and June salaries to the COVID-19 National Trust Fund. But the ranking member on Parliament's Defense and Interior Committee, James Agalga, says Parliament passed the NADMO Act, which established a disaster fund that has not been operationalized since 2016. Now, he says government should rather use the NADMO Disaster Fund for this purpose and not a new body entirely. He says the minority will kick against the establishment if it comes to Parliament.
When I pondered over the issue critically, I felt that this exercise of setting up a fund, a COVID-19 fund, was unnecessary in the first place. You are all aware I had occasion to file a question directed at the Minister for the Interior to appear before this House and apprise the House of the status of the disaster fund set up under the NADMO Act 2016. When the Minister appeared, I think we are all witnesses to what transpired. I mean, he fumbled badly because the fund set up under the National Disaster Management Act 2016 has not been operationalized. That particular fund is meant for situations like this, emergency situations like this. So rather than set up a new fund which needs to be taken through the legislative process, a law would have to be enacted by Parliament to give legal effect to the COVID-19 fund. I am of the view that the National Disaster Management Fund that was set up in 2016 ought to be operationalized. The setting up of a COVID-19 fund is duplicitous and thereby, unnecessary.
Will the minority support the approval of this document when it's laid before the House?
Look, to the extent that there is an existing legislation which has not been operationalized, I don't think that it is necessary to saddle Parliament with the passage of another act when we haven't operationalized a law which was passed in 2016. Let us us operationalize what is in existence. If there are pitfalls, we could then decide that, okay, we want to introduce some amendments to that particular legislation. But it is unacceptable not to operationalize an existing law and then bring up another bill for passage to bring into existence yet another fund.
So that's the concerns of the ranking member on Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, James Agalga. I will get some answers to that shortly. But I've told you about ministers and presidential staffers, the chief of staff, their deputies, amongst others, who have all donated 50% of their salaries for the next 3 months to this particular fund that Mr. Ogaga is raising concerns about. That's not all. All deputy ministers have also agreed to donate 50% of their salaries for the next 2 months. Theirs is April and May into the fund. As a result, the chief of staff, Madame Akusia Fremose Opare, has notified the Controller and Accountant General to effect these deductions as source for the period and transfer the accrued monies into the fund. We're grateful to be joined on the phone by the Communications Director at the Presidency, Mr. Eugene Ahin. Thank you very much for your time here on Newsnight. Pardon me if this is silly, but were you forced to do this?
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners as well. First and foremost, the straight answer to your question is no, we're not forced to do this. You recollect that on the 27th of March, when the President addressed the nation, he made it clear that he was establishing a National Trust Fund in aid of persons who are going to be, in quotes, affected by this pandemic, i.e. the poor and vulnerable, and also to assist in the fight against this. And as a result of that, he went ahead to donate 3 months of his salary into the fund. The Vice President did that. And as members of the executive, we believe, it is only appropriate that we also contribute our widows' might to this fight. Already we've seen institutions and individuals also come to accept the President's call for persons to donate into the fund. So we believe it's our widows' might, and all of us did it voluntarily. That's why the President in his speech did not say he himself and all members of his executive are doing that. No, he made his announcement separately. The Vice President also made his announcement separately. And all of us, all the ministers, all the deputy ministers, as well as all senior political appointees at the Presidency did this voluntarily.
So knowing the intent or the spirit behind this act, the concern then is, how are you going to cope the next 3 months for presidential staffers, and then deputies? There will be 2 months without, like 50% of your salary all gone. How are you going to cope? Do you have other sources of income?
Oh, we'll cope. I believe at the end of it, we believe it's towards a greater cause. So whatever the case, once, as I said, nobody was forced to donate to this particular fund. We all did this voluntarily, so we believe we just have to manage for the next 3 months in order to be able to sail through. And at least once we did it voluntarily, we believe we'll be able to sail through the next 3 months. So I don't think it should be that much of a problem.
But how are you going to assure us that we are not going to see you come up with other means of raising allowances here and there to be able to say, so to say, rob Peter to pay Paul?
Well, let me just give you a simple answer. Nothing like that is going to happen. You can have the word. You can have my word on that. Nothing like that is going to happen.
But how much are we expecting to have been raised by the 3 months and the 2 months period for the two categories?
I believe that particular answer would be best answered by the Controller and Accountant General. All I know is, at least it's going to be quite a significant amount of money, considering the ministers, the deputy ministers, and the 36 senior presidential political appointees we have at the office of the president. I believe it's going to be substantial. I think so. But as to the exact quantum of money, I would be in a position at this point to make an exact determination on that.
So if you'll permit me to put you on the spot, since I'm talking to you, let's talk about yours, for instance. For the next 3 months, you're giving up 50%. How much will that be?
In fact, I can't put that out publicly, but I believe it's still quite a good sum of money.
How many PPEs do you think that you'll purchase?
So how much is a PPE, for example?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, I believe it will go a long way to helping alleviate at least the plight of some people, as well as contribute to the fight against this virus. I believe it's a good amount of
But do we know if DCs and the rest will join in this, for instance? Do we know?
Well, I know for a fact that, for example, the DCs, the various EOs, all of them have deans who superintend over what decisions such as these. If in the coming days they also decide, just as we have decided voluntarily, if they also decide that they want to make such a contribution to the fund, I believe they'll make it known. Yeah, there's no directive coming from the president or from the presidency to anybody to contribute. If at least within your own conscience you believe this is what you can also do to help in the cause, yeah, I believe they will do so. So if they are minded to do so, I'm sure probably in the course of the coming week or the next few days, they should be able to make that known to the Ghanaian public.
But there are some concerns also that how do you donate monies that you have not earned just yet? Because tomorrow is not guaranteed.
Yeah, tomorrow is not guaranteed, but we all hope that tomorrow will be guaranteed. Our lives are not in our hands. We just hope and pray that at least God will continue to sustain us, just as He has done from January 2017 till now. So once, at least we hope and pray God does that. Definitely, once the time gets there, definitely those donations or those amounts of money will be deducted from source and then put into the fund. So we can only hope and pray God keeps us lives. So
why didn't it start from March, for instance?
Yeah, because the president made the announcement on the 27th of March. If you ask any body who is paid by the controller general, you know that definitely by the 25th of every month your salary gets in. So definitely by the time the president made that announcement already, that payment had already been made by the controller and accountant general. And you know, between then and now, I'm sure most people would have already dissipated that amount of money. So there was no way practically it was going to be possible. That's why the president himself said then whatever be the case, from April he's going to make his salary available, just as all of us have also announced that from April 50% of our salaries will be made available.
I hope you didn't spend all the money as a result of panic buying.
Oh, I did.
All right. We are grateful for your time. That's Eugene Ahin. He's a communications director at the presidency. But Asukwa MP, Katie Hammond, has been responding to the minority and the concerns you're raising about the donation of part of salaries or full salaries by the president and his team.
I encourage the president, the executive to go. Parliament will give them all the backing. Go out there, use the resources, save the lives of Ghanaians. And then we'll talk about accountability and we'll talk about a few pennies and whatever. This is not a time to talk about who is going to whatever. I'm challenging them. I have today asked the Parliament, the Finance Committee of Parliament, as I said, to donate my 2 months' salaries, April and May, to the fund established by the president. I am calling on the members of Parliament, at least senior ones like me, and then those on the minority side. I'm asking them to follow the president's advice, the president's example, the vice president's example, and follow suit instead of just yap. That won't come to anything. Let's contribute physically. Let's contribute in actual resource. Let's make sure that we stand up and fight coronavirus together.
That's the Asukwa MP, Katie Hammond, there speaking to my colleague Joseph Opoku Gakpo. Now, let's gauge compliance and the first day of the restrictions imposed by President Akufo-Addo. Across the Greater Accra region and parts of the Ashanti region, the imposition kicked in. Now, throughout the day, many Ghanaians complied with a stay-at-home order and meant to check the spread of coronavirus. Now, throughout these areas, our reporters were on the ground monitoring the implementation of that partial lockdown. Let's start from our home region, the Greater Accra. Now, my colleague PSC Nanaya Safo reports soldiers and the police strictly enforce the social distancing rules.
Sounds from the Kaswa toll booth as stationed police personnel check for proper sitting arrangements in commercial buses in compliance with the social distancing protocols by officials. Some passengers are asked to sit properly. Others, who are considered as overload for the sake of the times, are asked to alight. The drivers are not excited about the move.
Say by this time they want to move for 2 and Juma so Besanya, Kauna says Eddie command.
Before was an Ameba. Some bedroom on Woma, Yasimo Bian Fenipa. Lockdown, Mati. By New Sam, almost Sam last castle. You load 3 wow, load on for 3 wow, for 3 there,
A vehicle approaches filled to the brim with goods and people. The officers are not only furious with the major breach of lockdown laws, but the fact that the passengers and the driver seem to have no idea of a lockdown. But the drivers are not the only people breaking the rules. Although Joy News observed from parts of Tudu, Agbogboshi and Kantamanto that many citizens had complied with the directives, there were others who were also out on the streets, including a cobbler.
He has a polish here and he does cobbler duties. I asked him why he's operating here as at this time, given that this might be described as many as a non-essential service. He says, well, he doesn't mind. He continues his job. Even if we, the team, Joy News, need a service, he can provide for us instantly.
I'm Ofusu Free, and I'm not a worker. I'm just roaming about. I'm a prisoner. I came from one prison last week. So as I came, I don't have money to go back to my hometown.
So that's a PSC Nanaya Safo. To Temana, Joy News reporter, Mami Sinyameche Thompson reports compliance with the directives.
Since morning, I've been in town. Most residents are adhering to restrictions not to come out of their homes. And I was at the Community 1, the business district, earlier today. Activities are very slow. Commercial drivers are in town. They are not getting passengers because most residents are at home and they are not coming out. Also, other people are adhering to safety protocols that have been put in place, washing of hands, putting on nose mask, and going by the directives that have been taking place. We also know that security agencies and personnel are in town ensuring that people do not go overboard. Emefa.
So that's the situation in Tema. But how about compliance with this directive in slum communities where often many people are crammed in tiny spaces? My colleague Henry Kwesibedu was at Nima here in Accra to speak to some residents.
Nima looks calm as residents observe the president's directive to control the spread of the coronavirus. Food vendors here continue to sell. Those who do not sell essential items sit idle as their shops remain closed. Others have no option but to engage in games in the community. Practicing social distancing here is ignored as many sit in groups for idle conversations. 55-year-old Ajo lives in a compound house of about 40 occupants. She takes care of her mother and auntie, both old and frail. She's unable to make ends meet on her meager laundry profits of averagely 15 cedis a day. The restriction has locked her down as she is unable to move to restricted areas to do the laundry. Ajo laments her family only had provisions for a few days, adding no work would mean hunger.
Me senior me call Abeka, me call La Paz, me call Mambobi, me call Nutan. Sese anu papa no yesi yare nti obi ampue sese me call bi hona me call senior man o fi there bi ye mpese o yare nti me be senior man manu sese me ho come ndi mi enu me call toduane me kita 1 million yin na san nto si me esa yesi 200,000 me to me talk enti me pa no cho won boy kakra ye bre.
Ajo represents many Ghanaians living in slums who will have a difficulty staying indoors without any saved income. Some residents say they will skip lunch and eat only breakfast and supper to get through the restriction season. Isa, a single father of 4, says he survives by trading in goods from neighboring countries, but for now, the borders are locked.
Me, I'm a trader like this. I'm going far from the country, and then I came back buying charcoal and this thing, onion, salt, and then this thing, bring it for here, from Niger to here. So now I stop. I can't go. And then I block for the house, and then I get children almost getting to 7 with me. I have to feed them. You see, if I get some small liters of money spending, within 2-3 days, you know, your children, then the money finish. If the money finish, I can go out and to find another money to be feeding them. So it's a big problem from that area.
Some of the residents say, although they support the restrictions, hunger may just kill them if government does not support them.
Me like this, I'm a mechanic, and I didn't gather much more house so that I can take and spend with the number of days that he has given. You see, if I don't go out, I don't get anything for my family. I didn't put anything, or I didn't pile anything down in my room for my family, or to think like government will bring this quarantine, this days, number of days that I should quarantine myself inside the room. So what will I get if I didn't go out? You see, I have to go out and get something for my family. And we all here, everybody get his handwork. And if government didn't give us any support, how can we feed ourselves in home?
If the government can be possible to, you know, consider us and then help us with more food, and then government with what and little of money, and then you see the people can be staying, and then, you know, they can't get any problem from the house.
Many people here are cramped in small spaces, but Kwabena Afiavo believes the restrictions, the directives, and the precautionary measures deployed here will be effective.
The lockdown is very important to lock down to avoid the spreading of the sickness, as I said it. Yes. But
what have you observed in Nima?
What I observe is like Nima is very crowded places that wherever you go, every corner in Nima, you will see a lot of people. But today, because of the lockdown, from yesterday going, we can't see people. Even this particular place, you will be seeing people around, a lot of people gathered together in group. But because of the lockdown, people are not on the street again. I think most of them are in the house due to this coronavirus.
This story highlights how difficult it may be for many developing countries to tackle the virus without suspending the livelihoods of many poor people. Henry Kwesibedu's report for Joy News.
Such a beautiful report there. But let's head to the Ashanti region now. Enjoy my colleague Nana Asensu-Mensah. There's a report that 2 cargo trucks, each carrying over 40 passengers, including children, bound for Wale Wale in the northeast region from Accra, have been forced to return. Nana Asensu-Mensah, tell us a bit more about it. Why were they forced to return?
Yeah, Emefa, these 2 cargo trucks, which are bound for Wale Wale from Accra, were intercepted by the Jeso Police Command. And the police said the move was in defiance of the president's directive of social distance and people not moving from the epicenters to the other places. So the 2 cargo cars were intercepted. But later on, they released the car, and then they directed them to return to Accra because they can't allow them to go to the Wale Wale where they are bound for, Emefa.
Well, so I'm sure, I don't know if you got the chance to interact with any of them or your sources that made the arrest, for instance. What did they tell you, or why were they escaping from the city? We know that they just want to go there to escape the restrictions. But what really were the reasons, do we know?
The other reason, some of them, one called Adiza, who we spoke with, told me that basically they don't have anywhere to sleep because most of them are headquarters. They squat around and then they sleep at the front of other people's shops. So basically they don't have anywhere to sleep. That is why they are escaping from Accra to Wale Wale. And the lockdown is going to affect them. Even she referred that last week when the disinfection was in place, it really affected them, and then they didn't get anywhere to lay their heads. So they find it so cool that they can survive in Wale Wale than to starve in Accra, because for Accra they don't even have coal pots and other utensils to even cook for their children. And most of them were women with kids, so they feel that they will be better off in Wale Wale than to stay in Accra and starve.
But tell me about it. We were told that they were covered in trampoline to outwit security agencies. Tell us about the scene.
Yeah, the 2 cargo trucks were covered with tarpaulin. They were coming from Accra, they came separately. Actually, they were not in a convoy. They were not together. But so the driver packed the passengers. And then he just packed some goods like TV sets and other utensils to cover up at the entrance. So when police stops them, definitely the police can't see that there is passengers in the cargo truck. So they post like cargo instead of passengers. So that is how come they were able to sneak through, and then they meandered through the several police checkpoints and barriers through the stretch, and then LAC evaded them, and then the Agency Police Command intercepted them, and then the police also arrested the driver, who said that he granted them that chance on humanitarian reasons because he felt that most of the passengers or the victims were women, and then some of them were pregnant. So he felt for them, and then he decided to convey them all the way from Walawale to Accra because he was coming to Walawale empty. So he felt that it would be okay for him to also come along with the women, Emefa.
Nana Sensumensa, thank you very much for that report. Of course, you can watch the footage on Joy News Prime at 7 p.m. on the Joy News channel. You know, it's free to air on your digital platforms. But do you know that you could spend up to 14 years in jail if you flout the president's restriction ban for the next 2 weeks? You can listen to the ranking member of Parliament's Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee, Nusa Fuseni, explaining in default. But he, however, also thinks that the sentencing regime is unreasonable because the crime here isn't a felony.
The committee members were of the view that because it's a virus which we don't simply understand, at that time that we were considering the bill, the president had issued some executive measures pursuant to its executive authority under Article 58, and which was largely being complied with. So members of the committee were of the view that the sentencing regime should be minimal because people were already voluntarily complying. But on the floor of the House, a new idea came up. I mean, people thought that we should impose stricter punishment. And so on the floor of the House, the Parliament settled for 1,000 minimum, 1,000 units minimum, and 5,000 maximum. Now, a penalty unit is 12 cedis. So 1,000 means 12,000 Ghana cedis. So if a person breaches the executive instrument issued just recently, that person minimum is going to pay 12,000 Ghana cedis. Maximum is going to pay 60,000 Ghana cedis. That's the maximum. But the issue is, sentencing regimes go with in default. I mean, a failure to pay the fine will result in a person being incarcerated. The maximum for incarceration for a period of, a fine of 60,000 is about 14 years. But that's too harsh. I don't think that we will come to that because it makes the sentencing, the imprisonment, quite unreasonable. Because I don't think that coronavirus will survive more than 1 year. And why would a person who breaches a measure intended to prevent the spread of the disease go to jail for 14 or so years?
That's Nusa Fuseni. This is News Night here on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Emefa Apawu. Still to come, a Greek minister turns down request for price control of foodstuff on the market due to hikes triggered by panic buying.
Given the situation in Ghana today where we are having surpluses, there's no need for price control. It's only the consumer behavior towards the emergency which has caused it, and it's temporal.
And you never know, it's time for dinner. I may just join you in your homes shortly. Do stay. And later in the bulletin, also singing to create awareness about the fast spreading COVID-19.
Always wash your hands. Try and stay indoors. You need that one in not Corona. What you doing? When the China will be fair, fam by us, we are peaceful people. Corona, stop what you doing.
Can you do better than Tulenke? This is the latest song titled Corona. And George Afi has been trying. You've just been banging your head. Sing.
yeah, you throw the head to good music, and so sometimes,
it's
not bad. But you see, the story about the woman in that cargo truck raises a lot of questions about our social intervention programs that we have, and that's why maybe government has to fast track this whole corona alleviation program and what will be done for such persons in society.
Just be within the period, but the long term.
But the longer term, but also for me, there are two things here. There are some who also think, listening to the stories and following the stories today, there are people who still think that this thing is far away from them. Just stay home and just help stop this thing. But there was a guy who they interviewed and said he came out to see whether people are actually observing it.
And that's what we do, don't we?
Emefa.
When you tell us not to do something, we do it exactly the opposite.
Well, in business, Emefa, we could end the year with a growth rate of 1.5%, and that has serious implications for revenue, taxes, expenditure, and even that road project in front of your house or even your village. I'll be telling you more as the finance minister talks about some measures that they are putting in place to actually mitigate the impact of this coronavirus on the economy, and also what's the state of the country's food security. We're hearing from the Ghana Buffer Stock Company. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business, Kingdom Books and Stationery. And for First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business.
It's your day off and you end up looking after the baby while your wife goes off to work. You realize you have no idea how to change a diaper. So you video call your wife.
Hello, darling.
Hello? Hello?
Kojo, is everything all right?
Everything is all right. I'm not seeing Tofu. How do I change a baby's diaper, please?
Kojo. Okay, first, put the diaper.
The video call freezes. While you wait for the internet to catch up, the baby sprouts a fountain and wets the diaper. As you are getting a new one, your wife comes back online.
Kojo, no. Why did you leave Abeku alone on the bed?
But I have to go and get a new diaper. What must I do next? I beg, quick.
Open the front of the diaper. It's the side that has...
Wow, look. The video freezes again. Abba. By now, you know where the conversation is going. There's no buffering in real life, so why accept it from your internet connection? Get connected and experience ultra-fast internet to your home, powered by MTN Fiber Broadband.
We're there for you, everywhere you go.
Mr. Barr has big dreams for his business, Barr & Co. Limited, and his family, making them a reality man to long drives and queues. He's lost precious time struggling to pay his suppliers in China, Turkey, India, and other parts of the world. With the First National Bank global payment via our online banking enterprise, he now pays for all that in the convenience of his home or office, giving him time to focus on family and growing his business. Use our online banking enterprise to access Forex when you need it. It takes a bank that does more to help your family. So who's helping yours? First National Bank. How can we help you?
We give you nothing but the best. We stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
We know it's important to create a productive and supportive working environment by investing in your employees' health. With a leading international track record, Apex Health Insurance is regulated and licensed by the National Health Insurance Authority to provide medical insurance services to institutional clients, families, and individuals. Apex Student Package and International Medical Solutions are all here to cushion you. Visit Apex Health Insurance Office at Zion House, Boundary Road, Shiashi, or call
0501-683-914
or 0232-000-015. In Kumasi, we are located opposite Prempeh College, Sofo Line, and in Takrady, Apex Health, your preferred health insurer.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Welcome back to Business on News Night. Now, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has indicated that economic growth is expected to decline further due to the government decision to embark on this partial lockdown. Now, this could result in an end-of-year economic growth rate of 1.5%. from the 6.8% the government proposed in the 2020 budget. Now, this is far worse than the 2.5% that the Bank of Ghana had projected earlier on. We have more in this Business Desk report.
According to the Finance Minister, the development calls for some drastic measures to help resuscitate the economy. That is why government is laying before the House the coronavirus alleviation program to help deal with this challenge.
The Ministry of Finance will immediately release an amount of 1 billion Ghana cedis upon approval by Parliament. The Ministry is proposing to use the equivalent of US $290 million from the Stabilization Fund for this.
The Minister has also been given details on the real impact of the pandemic on the economy.
The cost of the coronavirus alleviation program is 9,505 million Ghana cedis, 2.5% of the revised GDP. Mr. Speaker, a recalibration of the 2020 fiscal framework underpinning the approved 2020 budget to reflect the fiscal impact of the coronavirus as outlined above shows that the overall fiscal deficit will increase from the program's Ghana 18.9 billion, 4.7% of GDP, to 30.2 billion, 7.8% of revised GDP.
The minister has outlined measures he believes would help close the fiscal gap created.
An estimated 1.25 billion Ghana cedis will be transferred into the contingency fund to fund the cap. Mr. Speaker, we therefore wish to seek approval from this August House for the Finance Minister to use the funds which will be available in the contingency fund to fund the coronavirus alleviation program.
Ken Ofori-Atta also outlined some tax reliefs for businesses.
The Ghana Revenue Authority will provide some reliefs to businesses and households, including extension of due dates for filing of taxes from 4 months to 6 months after the end of the basis year. Taxpayers encouraged to pay their taxes by bank transfers. Grant a remission of penalties on principal debts to taxpayers who redeem their outstanding debts due GRA up to 30th June 2020.
The Finance Minister disclosed that government has already secured the $100 million to fight the coronavirus.
Government has earmarked the equivalent 572 million Ghana cedis, $100 million, for the fight against COVID-19. Contrary to views of some skeptics that the money is not available, I wish to assure you that the money has been secured and is available to be dispersed in accordance with our public financial market procedure and rules.
The minister indicated the pandemic would impact negatively on the total debt stock of the country's bonds and the Ghana cedi due to the negative reaction by foreign investors.
And that was a Business Desk report. Meanwhile, the Finance Minister has also indicated that he would present the mid-year review to Parliament, that is in July this year. Now, this is despite calls that the Minister should actually bring this date forward to ensure that it takes adequate measures to deal with this pandemic. But the Minister maintains that he needs more time to still assess the situation before he comes back to Parliament for that mid-year review. The Ghana Union of Trade Association is asking its members to strictly comply with the restriction of movement for the next 2 weeks. President Akufo-Addo last week announced a partial lockdown in some parts of the country. According to government, traders only in the food chain business are allowed to go ahead and do their business. Speaking to Joy Business President of the union, Dr. Joseph Obeng, said it might be in the interest of traders not to flout these directives.
For us, our position is that whatever the experts will advise the government for government to do, we will be there to ensure that we comply with. And that's all that we have to do even as citizens. We will be there as traders to also support any cause that will help the genuinity of Ghanaians. But for me, consensus building is very important. For us to have a position, no. Because when we meet and we say that no, we do not abide by that because it's going to hurt our business and all that. It means that we are being selfish against the will of maybe a government who will want to lock it down. Dr.
Joseph Obeng is president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. The National Buffer Stock Company has given the firm assurance that the country has the required food supplies to meet the needs of the public during this lockdown period. The state of the country's food security has come under some scrutiny following this restricted movement of persons and the panic buying that reduced for the past few days. Chief Executive of the company, Abdul Wahab Hanan, has given more details about the state of our food security.
Stock that we have of maize, we have 10,000 metric tons of maize. We have 20,000 metric tons of rice, 4,000 metric tons of cowpea, and 2,000 metric tons of millet. And like I indicated, purchases are ongoing throughout the country. Our license buying companies are all over buying. And also, like the Honorable Minister have also indicated, there is no need for panic stocking of food. We are working very hard to make sure that strategically our warehouses are stocked with food. Strategically, we meet the national food basket of our dear nation. And we are committed in taking this education outside the Ministry of Information's conference room.
Abdul Wahab Hanan is Chief Executive of the Ghana National Buffer Stock Company. And for some good news for you there in terms of the state of food security in this country, they are saying that there's no cause to be worried. So let's see what happens. Then panic ration to go and buy about 8 bags of maize.
Did you do that?
No,
I only the rich that did that. So I'm sure you're one of them. What did you buy?
Nothing.
Okay, so don't worry. I'll be touching base with some of you shortly to check what you're having for dinner and then also how much you stocked, because most of you are working from home as a result of the lockdown. Those who are not part of the exempt. But I have some good news before I go into some of your comments that you sent in via WhatsApp is 0244-340-437. This one on Twitter, the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical and Research at the University of Ghana. There's a statement from them. The University of Ghana at UG is pleased to inform members of the university community and the public that all the university's primary contacts of the reported COVID-19 patient from the university have tested negative after going through the 14-day period of quarantine. Attached to that tweet is a statement and is giving an update on the COVID-19 case at the University of Ghana. So for those of you who have children or relatives or people who work at the university, and if they were part of the 14-day quarantine, they've all tested negative. So some good news there. And in 24 hours also, Ghana is yet to record another case of the COVID-19 case. We're still praying and hoping that it stays that way. But let's take some of your comments that you sent in via WhatsApp. You can keep them coming in, and I just might activate the phone lines so we get interactive. But this one it says that the ministers are living in the expense of the ordinary Ghanaian, so donating 50% of their salary is nothing to make noise about. How much do they spend to buy fuel in a day, week, or month? That's by Kwamina Kotoka of Atimpoku. And this one says, as health workers continue to be exposed to infected patients, where are the PPEs? Health workers must be protected to protect everybody. 36 exposed health workers in Tamale, we are told, is about 50 or so, and 15 at Ridge have been quarantined. Please, the PPEs are not there. That's Bibi in North K. Walanyo in Akwatia says sometimes human beings must be forced to comply with the law. It is an example to people who just want to go out to see what lockdown means, just risking the life of their families back home. T-Smart from Amasaman says, the President, the Vice, and all ministers have contributed to the fund setup. What about the Galamsey money? Okay. And this one also says, I will plead with the people of Ghana to adhere to the President's directive to stay at home. I'm only afraid that if the spread of the virus escalates, I don't know what will be of us looking at what is happening in some of the developed countries. Okay, so I understand. So it says, #stay home. And Frank AJ Puku Collins of APC Fashion, Don Poise Aprapo says, okay, that one is from him. And then Charles Adu from Gumwa, German, says the fate of the nation seems to be unknowable, and it is the survival of the fittest and the rich leaving the poor to struggle for existence. Some of your comments. And get ready, I'll be joining you for dinner shortly. The phone numbers that you can join me on is 0302-216-541, also on 0244-340-437. How are you coping with the first day of the partial lockdown in Kumasi, and then also in Accra, and then Tema, and then also Kaswa? You can join me. We'll also hear from some of my colleagues on working from home, day one of the partial lockdown. But listen to some callers this morning.
When you come to not just Osu, but most of the hood, I mean, people keep playing football every day. This is not something that we can just sit down and fold our hands and just allow government to do everything. I think strict enforcement be applied, especially with banning or stopping people from playing football.
Hand sanitizer, I bought 5 cedis at a mat. I don't want to mention the filling station in Asante Mampong. 5 cedis. And a week later, I went to the same shop. What was costing 5 cedis was now 15 cedis.
On Saturday, I went to a shaman, and then we were trying to buy oranges. And then the lady selling the oranges, they were like, they've heard that orange is good for the virus. And then the price, it's like the price has increased.
Orange.
So you get a little quantity for a higher price. And then on Sunday, I went to a shaman. We were trying to buy food stuff. Gary, which is sold for 8 Ghana cedis, is now 10 Ghana cedis.
So, Gary, I know now it's about 25 Ghana cedis per Olunka. Well, so some callers into the Super Morning Show today. That's the reality in terms of the price hikes. But the Minister for Agriculture, Dr. Kotefi, has turned down the request for price control. As you may know, there have been hikes in the food prices due to the panic buying over fears of a shortage. But speaking at a news conference at the Information Ministry, Dr. Kotefi assured there is enough food available on the market to meet the needs of Ghanaians due to the Planting for Food and Jobs program.
In terms of supply and demand. As I've said, seasonally, you expect the end of the first quarter and the beginning of the second quarter of the year to have an increase in prices of food generally, because stocks are very low and farmers are busy preparing their lands for the planting for the new season. So that is generally what one would expect. But on top of that is this mad rush to stock up, which has actually accentuated the situation. And like night and day, once everybody comes back to normality and the assurance that the food supplies are there, these prices are just temporal. They're going to come down. So those of you rushing to buy at 2-3 times the price of what they used to be, you're just throwing money away, because the stocks will be there in the market, and the food will be there to the white sellers and the other food vendors to be able to meet the demands of the poorest in the society and of the highest in the society.
So the minister also noted that though there have been hikes on the world market, Ghana is immune due to measures put in place by government to ensure food security. He insists there is no need to control market prices. We'll hear from the minister shortly on this, and he also mentioned earlier that it's a waste of time to spend the amount of money that you're spending on food or to hoard food within the period. Some of you did. Some of you are also hoping that once you get, because food is in the exempt, or it's an essential thing in this lockdown. So once you get the opportunity, you need to pay the amount of money you're paying for that. He also announced that there will be a package for critical players in the food value chain during this pandemic. But I've been gauging the mood on the first day of the lockdown, and I told you earlier that we don't usually do this on Newsnight, but today I'm giving you the opportunity to join me to tell me about the first day of the lockdown. It's 0302-216-541, also on 0244 340-437 is 0302-216-541. Those of you also working from home, you can also join me and let's have a chit chat quickly before we wrap up on news. But I have joined news editor Araba Kumsin, and she is working from home this week, and she joins us on the line. Araba, how has it been today?
It's been a slow day. Because of the nature of our work, we're used to,
being active, always on the go, So it's a change that I'm getting used to. So this morning I woke up early as usual, took a shower. I forgot that I was not supposed to be
You still woke up at 4?
Exactly. I mean, that's how my body clock works. So I woke up, took a shower, and totally forgot that I was not supposed to be at work. And so went back into my house. But it was generally quiet. The thing is that it's the boredom. Yes, I follow the news, but it's the boredom, and that sort of tempts you to want to go to the fridge and take something to nibble on. But yeah, it's been slow.
Have you had ampesi today? You love your ampesi and your
that's my favorite.
So did you stock up? Were you part of those who engage in panic buying? Because I know you were asking about kontomire and the prices.
Yes. On Saturday, I went to the Medina market to get a few supplies, and my God, it appeared as if the whole Ghana was in the market. It was so choked. But I managed to get some supplies. But like the minister said, I think that there is enough food, so people should not panic and be buying more than they need, because they will end up even, spoiling the food stuff.
Okay. Araba Kumsin, thank you very much. She's been working from home. She's privileged to be working from home this week. Araba, thank you. If your turn now is 0302-216-541. I have a caller on the line. Please, who am I speaking to and where you're calling from?
Emefa, good evening. My name is Echo, and I'm calling from Agege last stop.
Okay. What's your situation? How did you, the lockdown, tell me about it today.
Emefa, are we really having the lockdown today? I mean, has the lockdown started?
It has. Why are you asking that?
Well, in my area, the situation is quite different. I mean, I'm really wondering if the lockdown is really...
You're talking about Agege.
Yeah, Agege last stop, heading towards Beach Road and the rest. And I'm quite surprised if the lockdown has been activated, because I mean the whole day for me I've been indoors because I don't want to defer the president's order. Again, people are going about their normal duties. People have been peddling, loitering around, hugging. Not even observing the social.
But we are told that Agege has more like a station, public transport area, market, and all. That's how come you still have activities. That's not the case.
Yes, but heading towards the beach road, the stretch of that part of the area. I mean, it's a slum though. But what I'm saying is that people are going about their normal.
You still have to observe it though. Stay at home so we stop the spread. Let's take another caller at this point. Who do I have on the line and where are you calling from, please?
Hello, good evening, Emefa. I'm calling from Kumasi.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about it in Kumasi today.
I don't remember the last time I spent such a day like this. I've not even opened my main gate. I've been throughout the whole day. It's such a boring. Watching movies on your laptop and relax. I'm even tired of it.
You're tired of it. I'm sure if they asked you to go to work, you would say that you want to rest. Now you've given the opportunity, you're complaining.
Not opportunities like this. This one we are being forced to.
Oh, okay. But did you stock up on food, for instance, and the price hikes? So what can you say about it quickly?
Yeah, last Saturday at Asafo Market, the way they increased the tomatoes and everything.
I'm told one was going for like 2 cedis and all.
They call it big tomatoes. They will fill it up. They are saying it's 40 cedis, 50 cedis.
Oh, okay.
And I was shocked. So I asked one of the customers, and she was a lady, and she said it's the same price go to every market. So I was shocked to hear them, and the way the prices were hiked. Then you ask a tin of maybe 1 cedi, they will tell us 5 cedis.
Oh, okay. Well,
so the restaurant of it is one of the ladies. She was cursing them.
Thank you very much for joining us there from Kumasi. We'll take one final one. I'll squeeze one final call in there. Hello, and where are you calling from?
Emefa, good evening. My name is John the Disciple from Laura in the Upper West region.
Wow, John the Disciple. Welcome to News Night. How was your day today?
Yes, by His grace, we are managing. Let me use this opportunity to say happy birthday, belated happy birthday to the President of the Republic of Ghana. Nana Adudankwa Wadu.
Okay.
And let me also use this opportunity to thank our able regional minister, Honorable Dr. Hafiz, and then our municipal chief executive in Laura.
Now you're reminding me about music for you.
Yes, please. I think that,
but I want to hear about you are not in the areas that experience the lockdown, though. So
yes. We have experienced it all over the river boundaries, the security services, that's the immigration and the fire service. They are very, very active, working hard, and we are really helping them. Nobody is there to cross, and everybody is prepared. And I think that it's good and it's helping the nation.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
John the Disciple, thank you so much for your time. That's it for the calls. And Nana Sakwao is coming up next. I'm sure that one you get all the opportunity to speak to him all that you want. But I'll leave you with Tulenke, and he has a song on coronavirus. I am Emefa Apawu. Thanks so much for your company. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. That's My Opinion is up next.